Cheat on me? Enjoy your new life. Now, let's get into the story. My friends and I sometimes get together with a guy we'll call Mark. As of today, Mark is in his 40s, happily married to a lovely woman, and the parents of 2 teens. On the basis of what Mark told us, I'll try to tell you the story as precisely as I possibly can. The fact that your children are growing up and you no longer have to look after them around the clock 7 days a week is well known to you all. 9-to-5 jobs, mundane living in a small hamlet, and the fact that your children are growing up and you no longer have to look after them around the clock are all factors that contribute to the monotony of married life. As a result, you make every effort to make your life more interesting. The acquisition of a puppy, the beginning of a new pastime, and so on. At least, that's what Mark figured would happen. He was also under the impression that his ideal little life would continue endlessly. Wrong. In addition to participating in sports and working hard to break up the monotony of their daily life, Mark discovered that his wife, let's call her Mandy, was busy following her own hobbies. One of his favorite pastimes was getting heated and passionate with another man from a neighboring town. To begin with, he didn't seem to mind the rumors since they were, after all, just that, rumors. But there was something different about Mandy's demeanor as time went on. In addition to ceasing to laugh in front of Mark, she grew aloof, stopped conversing, started screaming, got agitated, and so on. It only lasted a few months. This irritated Mark, and when we finished playing soccer, he approached us and asked what we should do. Numerous ideas were floated, including confronting her in front of the group. While Mark was concerned about his marriage being ruined by a few mood swings and a rumor, his wife was less concerned. In the end, he did what any logical person would do, he acted. He put surveillance cameras around the house. And I'm referring to professionals of the pie caliber. Except for his children's room, he had cameras in the bathroom, the living room, and their bedroom, as well as pretty much everywhere else in the house. He provided us with an update on his new hobby and setup, and things settled down for a few weeks after that. After a few weeks of soccer practice, we decided to go out for a few beers. We saw Mark wasn't himself, and we were perplexed as to what was wrong with him. He told us that, after several nights of reviving footage, he had come to the conclusion that Mandy was absolutely cheating on him with another guy. The fact that she had deceived him was infuriating to him. They had been married for over 20 years, they had been high school sweethearts, and they had 2 boys. Now comes the vengeance. He didn't approach her immediately away. Mark devised a strategy. He had no trouble gaining the guy's phone number despite living just a few towns away. You've all heard of those annoying advertising businesses who phone you to persuade you to purchase their stuff, right? Mark claimed to be one and told the person with the pretense that he was selling him body cleaning tablets and other nonsense. He knew the guy was overweight, and because he was such a smooth talker, he had no trouble him. He obtained the guy's first and last name, which he already knew, address, SSN, work address, and some other information that isn't important to the narrative. He informed the man that he was in a poll for several awards from the firm for which he worked, and that he would contact him if the man won anything. Part 2 followed shortly after. On a Friday, while Mandy was at work, he put everything she had, including clothing, jewelry, collectibles, and other items, into their family vehicle. They had a VW Touran, so everything she had fit well. He informed Mandy they were going on a vacation when she got home from work. She was first opposed, but the slick talking quickly persuaded her to give up and get in the van with him. Before that, he drove the boys to one of our friends' home. They weren't yet 18 and he is a decent parent, and dropped them there. You may be wondering where they went. Remember how he referred to the man with whom Mandy was having an affair? I believe you already know the answer. Mandy had no idea, which was either unfortunate or amusing. He drove her and her stuff to the guy's house and phoned him on the way to urge him to come outside. He said that he had won first place and was on his way to personally present it to him. Mandy was still in the dark. She assumed he was simply pranking one of his pals. I'm sure you've realized by now that she isn't the smartest person in the world. Imagine her and the guy's expressions as he pulled into the parking place at the guy's home. He got out of the vehicle, shook the guy's hand, and said, "Here is your reward, sir, I suppose you know what it is." I went away after one final glimpse at Mandy's blanched face. He obtained custody of both children because he was better off than she was, and he also informed the court she was unfaithful, which was why he was divorcing her. This occurred last year, and as far as we know, the man was an A-grade jerk, and she dumped him shortly after a few beatings and visits to the ER/police station. Mark was able to get over her after some time and a lot of drink, but he and his sons are doing well. They were both old enough to recognize their mother was at fault, yet they still hardly spoke to her when they visit. She attempted to re-enter Mark's life on a few occasions, but he did the wise thing and told her to. After we went out for a few drinks after soccer, he told us this tale. I had to go to the toilet because I was laughing so hard envisioning the entire scenario that I wet myself. I hope you had as much fun reading this as we did. It's not an SSN, and we're not from the United States. Because so many people got caught up on it, it's a tax number, and I'm guessing he requested for it to seem more credible. Edit 2, corrected a few spelling mistakes. Many folks are reading a lot into every element of Mark's tale that I gave. For example, how he managed to fit all of her belongings into one automobile. Of course he couldn't, and maybe he hired some movers later. Consider the vehicle to be stocked with items for a vacation, or whatever floats your boat. As I previously said, I am writing this from memory, so certain details may not add up to your keen eyes. Be cautious. I also did not attend the custody hearing, but the kids live with him and see the mother every other weekend. I inquired how it was going, and they said it was fairly petty between her trying to earn their approval and convincing them she wasn't at blame. I believed them since they were 16 and 17 years old at the time. I suppose I should apologize for doing so. Finally, is this tale fabricated just because he obtained the rights to the children? I'm not sure how things are in the United States, but courts here, as far as I know, consider everything. They would rather give them to someone who is more able to care for them. This covers their salaries, where they live, and how they behave in court. Get off your high horse, America, since not all countries are female-centered and corrupt. Story 2. My wife of over 10 years has cheated on me. My wife of over 10 years, 33 female, suddenly cheated on me. In September 2018, I, a 35-year-old male, discovered the information while browsing through her phone. She had gotten a phone upgrade, and her old phone was still resting inside the dresser, on quiet but constantly ringing. I picked it up because I thought it could be crucial, and I noticed that she was on Facebook Messenger. She was messaging a guy who had been our mechanic, 34M, for the previous year, since we had moved into a new home. I never looked through her phone, but I did this time. I discovered that she has been communicating with him since at least June 2018. I was heartbroken. I'm not sure how I got through work that day. When I challenged her about it, she did not deny it. If she was speaking the truth, they had only had protected twice, based on the texts, she was. They spoke when I found out, and she's no longer going to see him, and he's been dismissed as our mechanic, but we're in an unusual situation since he was also the one who gave us with animals, like hens, for our new property, as well as hay. We are storing some hay for him in our shed. He hasn't given us any more animals since then, although he did leave several rabbit cages at the side of our driveway. I'll confess that I'm sometimes a bit lazy and won't do housework, but part of that is sadness from having 4 kids together, and losing 2 of them, but that's a tale for another time. I've spoken to my therapist about it as well, and he feels confronting her about it is a smart approach. Getting up more often to complete chores is also a good idea. She hasn't spoken to him since the 6th of December. She never locks her phone, and she never has, but she knows I look through it sometimes, though I haven't in a long time. How can one regain trust after being dumped? We've decided to go to work on it. We're planning to start couples counseling soon. She apologizes profusely and admits that she made a mistake. On both sides, many tears were shed. We've been together for almost 10 years and have known each other for much longer, so I trust her when she says she's genuine. February 27, 2019, my wife has now prevented the other person from communicating with her through Facebook Messenger and ordinary text messaging. He's got his hay and, hopefully, no need to contact us again. I haven't blocked him, so he can contact me if he really needs us. But I'm not going to respond.